Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's finally time to talk about whether or not Eldritch Moon will be a complete flop or a complete success from a price standpoint. Now, since actual card and set popularity set the prices, you could think of it as the popularity of the set from a money standpoint or from like a playability standpoint. Either one works. Now first, let's talk about the two giant things that this set has going against it. One, it's only 205 cards. I think around 250 is like the average set. Around 300 is a pretty big set, and 184 is what OGW was. When there's that few cards to go around, if people still buy the same amount, like they just say, I'm going to buy 100 boxes of whatever comes out, they're going to end up with more of every individual card. So if the demand stays the same but the supply goes up, then you've got a problem because that drives down the prices. And that really does prevent any particular card from being very valuable. Now, let's say Archangel Avacyn in the last set, it pretty much maintained its price. I mean, people really wanted it, but there was just enough to go around that the price never really just took a nosedive. The same really can't be said about Oath of the Gatewatch. There's no cards that just maintained their price forever. There was just too many to go around. Now, I have heard from a reliable source, though, that Wizards themselves actually prints less of sets that have less cards in them, because smart vendors, which is now me, but previously not me, they actually know to buy less of it if it's a smaller set. Now I know that, after losing a ton of money on OGW. So really, there aren't more cards to go around, but I still haven't confirmed that. It's not like somebody at Wizards said that, but my vendor told me that. And also another owner of a huge shop in the area, he said, yes, we order less of the smaller sets, Wizards prints less, because they know that there's more cards to go around and they don't want to flop the prices or the vendors really won't be interested and, nobody will pick up the set. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't have that going against it. I mean, 205 cards, you make the decision yourself. The second thing it has going against it is the fact that it's the second set in a block. I don't know why, but the second and third ones never do as well as the first one. I mean, they introduced completely new mechanics. If you look at, for example, we'll say Born of the Gods and Journey to Nyx, they had completely different strategies, sort of the same central theme and creature type, but they added completely new ways to play the game and build decks. But apparently they don't sell as well for some reason, and Wizards themselves admitted that the third set in every block, which is now gone, they only do two, the third set would always do terrible. People were tired of the same old because they had to build on the first ones, and people are sick of playing those decks and their established decks, so yeah, you might improve one or two cards, but you're just keeping the main concept deck. I mean, if you think about Oath of the Gatewatch, it only really made the Eldrazi a little bit better and the allies a little bit better and just kind of built on the decks that were already there. It didn't really add anything that unusual, except for a slightly new concept in Kozilek's Brood. Oh, and a sort of new color of mana that nobody gave a flying crap about. And that really is a great example of why a set flops. If people don't like the major theme or the mechanic, and they just don't want to use it, and it's just not as effective, it's dead. Pretty much the whole set is dead. Colorless mana and creatures that required now a sixth color, basically, to be summoned, it just never took off. People didn't want to do it. It wasn't good enough. There weren't enough cards that required colorless, and the colorless spells and creatures weren't good enough. The same goes for, we'll just say, Journey to Nyx. The set primarily did poorly because Constellation wasn't good enough. You had to build a really specific type of deck, and that specific type of deck wasn't good enough to compete with all the rest of the decks that were legal. So if you look at Eldritch Moon, what are the major mechanics? Well, we've got Meld, which looks terrible. It's way too slow, way too unreliable, and you could just remove the creature that they meld. So it's like, oh, I'm going to kill off one of my creatures effectively, because I've got two. I'm going to get rid of one and make it into one bigger one. That's not literally what's happening. You're merging them together, but it's effectively getting rid of two creatures to summon one, and putting all of your eggs in one basket, and if anything happens to that creature, you are in trouble. If it gets pinned down, if it gets, negative attacked, or visions of brutality, anything, it is done, or destroyed, or exiled, or sacrificed. Terrible mechanic, complete crap, and it's way too hard to build up to. So it would be fun, it might be kind of interesting when it completely ruins the pre-release or any kind of draft, because if somebody pulls it off, they're going to win every single game. Especially with 40 card deck, but considering it's a mix of rares and mythics and that sort of thing, yeah, good luck. Not really going to happen. You would have to be the luckiest person on the planet to bring out that new merged, Brisella. So, I mean, you look at Brisella, she's pretty good, she's pretty powerful, she's game winning, but she's really just about identical to Westphal. So, I mean, what's the big deal? You already have one and it's a little bit more reliable and useful in the meantime. Also, her components cost way too much, and they're just going to take too long to get out. If you say, oh, I'm going to play a Bracella melding deck, well, guess what? You're going to get mauled by werewolves on like turn 5 and 6 and lose the game before you can even get probably the second component out, maybe the first. Handweir looks a lot more reasonable, but if you guys are familiar with my other video that outlined the math of pulling... if you have 4 cards out of 60, pulling it in your opening hand or pulling it by turn 8, well, multiply it by itself because now you have to pull a second card. I tell people this all the time. If you're waiting for 4 cards to meet up with 4 cards, or 1 of each, I should say, it's not going to happen. It might happen in like 15 to 20% of the games on a good day. So, melding, I mean, you could throw it in as an afterthought if you're going to make like an Angels or a Flying deck anyway, or like a White Rush aggro, I don't know, or some kind of White Ramp, I guess. And then if it goes off, great, but it's not a mechanic you can rely on, so that's out. Now, the other major mechanic that comes to mind is Emerge. Now, that one's interesting because some of these are pretty good. But let's look at Distended Mindbender. It's a 5/5 for 8, and when you cast it, it's basically a double Thought-Knot Seer. The problem is, it's a 5/5 for 8 that doesn't have that great of an effect. I mean, it could miss. It's almost definitely going to miss 50% of that trigger. And its Emerge cost is 7. So you'd have to get rid of, let's say, a 2 cost, and then pay, it would be a 5/5 for 5. Kind of on par with Reality Smasher. Less aggro, but more useful. So about on par with that. So I could kind of see that. So in general, it seems like a lot of the Emerge cards, they just hyper-inflated the casting cost just to the moon, because when you bring it back down to what it should be, that's Emerge. So it's like, it should just say, oh, here's a 5/5 for 5, you pay the 5 mana, oh, but you have to sacrifice a creature to summon it. It's basically an old-school Yu-Gi-Oh! Tactic. So if you read between the lines and look up how it's really going to work, Emerge is just nothing. It's just, I have to get rid of a creature to summon this creature. Great. That's not even a benefit. It's actually like a negative. So a lot of the Emerge creatures are unbelievably powerful and they all like do something cool, but other than that, it's just not a good mechanic. The one saving grace is, let's take Elder Deep Fiend, for example. It's a 5/6 octopus for 8, and it taps 4 target permanents, and it has flash. That's pretty cool. I don't think you're going to be casting it for 8, but its Emerge cost is 5 and then 2 blues. So you can reduce the cost by the creature that you sacrificed, his converted mana cost, and that can only be applied to generic mana. But a 5/6 octopus for 2 blue is pretty darn good if you got rid of a 5-cost creature. Now let's say that creature was being targeted with a kill spell. Now here you go. Now it could be a 10-cost creature that they just, used a removal spell on. Well, okay, flash in your octopus, sacrifice the creature that they're targeting, now it's gone and the spell fizzles, and now you've got an octopus, and you get to tap some stuff. That's not bad. So it's the old switcheroo, kind of reminds me of ninjutsu, but way more useful. So I could take it or leave it. Emerge just basically comes down to, were you going to put a creature like that in your deck anyway? Were you building, I don't know, an Eldrazi octopus deck? That's a terrible example. So nothing special, kind of neat, kind of useful. I like it, but, not like, oh my god, I'm going to build an all Emerge deck. It's just not good enough. So with both of the major mechanics kind of take it or leave it, not that impressive, that doesn't look so good. But let's take a look at the other rares and the other mythics, because if you've been following the spoilers, we've got some serious heat coming. And keep in mind, in a small set, there's not that many rares. I think there's going to be like 30-something rares and probably, 12, 13 mythics, something like that, maybe 11. It is not a high number. So let's say if like 9 of the mythics are really good and 75% of the rares are good, it's going to be a really expensive set because a lot of people are going to want a lot of rares. If everybody wants to flip Jace, you get an $80 flip Jace, and that's that. They have to want the rest of the cards for you to really consistently make money, so it's not like, oh, open a box, get a Jace, or you get nothing because all the rest of the cards are worth $3, which was basically sort of the case eventually with Magic Origins. Well, the Abolisher of Bloodlines, that's the post-flip version of the card. That card is insane, and it's a Madness ability. You could throw it in the already existing Madness heavy direct damage super aggro flying monstrous deck from hell that is Vampires. It's a dirt cheap deck, and Abolisher is better than any card currently in it, and I keep getting beat by that deck at F&M. So if it improves on an existing deck, everybody wants it. The Decimator of Provinces. That's a solid card. It's really good. I mean, yeah, it has Emerge, which only reduces it by 1 naturally, but if you get rid of a rather large creature, you're going to be swinging with everybody with a boost and some trample. Now, I'm going through these so quickly, I'm not actually going to throw the artwork up. If you don't know what the card does, like, why, they've been spoiled for like a week, but feel free to Google it. It would take forever to throw up all the artwork in the editing program, and the card would be up for about 3 seconds. So then we've got Eldritch Evolution. That is a modern, breaking, broken pile of crap. It's Chord of Calling on steroids. It is not a fixed version of Birthing Pod. It's an improved version of Birthing Pod because it's more flexible, costs less mana, and could be cast earlier. I don't care that it can't be cast repeatedly as an ability. It doesn't need to be. You'll win the game the first time you play it. Birthing Pod, by the way, is banned in Modern, and pretty much everybody wants Chord of Calling banned in Modern. Either Collected Company or Chord of Calling needs to be removed because elves are way too powerful right now. They are like 1 card away from being a tier 1 deck in Modern. And don't even get me started on the Kitchen Finks deck and a couple others that use Chord of Calling. Oh my god, I hate the state of Modern right now. I cannot wait for the next ban announcement because they're going to ban something. Hopefully they ban Eldritch Evolution. It's not even in anything and people know that it's already that damn bad. So I'm sure that'll be popular in Standard. That was the point I was getting to. Emrakul, I mean, it was hard enough to get Ulamog out. I don't know if people are going to come up with 13, but, well, you could just use Eldritch Evolution, couldn't you? And you could just go get her from your sideboard with that other dumb card. So she could be reliably cast, hopefully. I mean, at least reliably put into your hand. And she is definitely game-ending good, so that's great. The 3/3 for 3 Eternal Scourge, holy crap is that powerful. That is going to be in every single deck. It's the new Endless one, but on steroids. It fits in every deck. It's colorless. Oh my god, buy this card. It's Relentless Dead plus Bloodstained Champion, but on steroids, bigger and better and faster and more reliable, and oh my god, like, and not black. That's a $10 card all day, I guarantee it. Gisa and Geralf, the Mythic, holy crap, don't even get me started about that card. During each of your turns, you may cast a zombie creature card from your graveyard, so basically every zombie gets, like, enhanced flashback. You know, it's not like Whip of Erebos, like, you get it on the battlefield and it stays there, it does not exile at the end of turn. That is insane. I mean, I caused people some problems with Despoiler of Souls coming back a couple times, and that can't even block, and it's only a 3/1. I mean, you can bring back stuff like Geralf's Masterpiece, any of the stitched creatures. It's just insane. I mean, zombies are going to dominate everything. If you can, buy a Kalitas right now. He's probably going to hit like $40-50 when people see some of these zombie cards. It's just absurd. I would also get some Diregraph as soon as humanly possible. Now then there's Gisela herself, which, you know, obviously merges into Bracella, but by herself, she's a 4/3 for 4 with Flying, First Strike, and Lifelink. I mean, she doesn't have Vigilance. Who cares? That's amazing. That much damage in the air, that is the Vampire Slayer. It's Gisela, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That card is insane, and I think just for the fun of it, people are going to throw the other side of it in the deck just to see if they can make it happen. Even Gnarlwood Dryad, it's not even a rare, and holy crap is that good. That's like almost modern good. It's a potential 3/3 for 1, and let's see, what does that sound like? Wild Nacatl, which used to be banned from Modern for being a 3/3 for 1. I mean, obviously not that early game because of Delirium, but if you're already playing some kind of Modern Delirium, hey, why not? Throw it in. You might summon 2 on the same turn and just devastate your opponent. Who knows? Handweir Battlements, the rare land, absolutely insane. Taps for colorless, great. Pay 1 red, give someone haste, there you go. You could bring out Emrakul and swing immediately. Or another Emrakul-sized object. Now, the other component, Handweir Garrison, is actually quite good, too. It's a 2/3 for 3. It's a human soldier, so there's a little bit of interaction there. And whenever it attacks, you put a 1/1 red human creature on the battlefield tapped and attacking. So it's kind of like Brimaz, which is, like, still a $12 card. And yeah, it costs 5 to meld it, but the 7/4 version, Handweir the Writhing Township, is completely insane. That's a 7/4 trample haste. Good luck stopping that. And every single time that it attacks, you put out 2 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creatures, tapped and attacking. So that's 6 more damage. Speaking of 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror tokens, they aren't flipped. Or not flipped, I mean, they aren't returned to hand in the case of Thing in the Ice flipping because they're horrors. There's also one other significant improved horror, and then there's a whole bunch of cards that bring out the 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horrors. So that as a token is kind of like the new Eldrazi Scion, but to a little bit lesser of an extent. 3/2 tokens are no joke. I mean, the last card that generated, like, I think a 3/3 Centaur, oh my god, was that powerful and hard to stop. So, that is definitely not to be trifled with. Then, of course, you've got Harmless Offering. Oh, look at that cute kitty, but holy crap, is that an unbelievably unfair card. Another card that immediately right off the bat needs to get banned from Modern because it's just not fair. Even in Standard, people are saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go get some copies of Demonic Pact. And, Demonic Pact recently went from, I don't know, about 5 cents to about $1 million lately, so a little bit of an increase there in price. So, you bring out Demonic Pact, you hit it with Harmless Offering, and it's not like Black and Red don't already have insanely overpowered cards that can block, stall, and deal damage. Oh, and of course, kill the opponent's creatures. Now, you can summon Demonic Pact, wind it down, and then hand it over to them, and there are entire colors that don't have enchantment removal. So basically, if somebody's playing this deck, depending upon what color you're playing, you cannot win the game. If they get this off on, like, turn, 5, if they're really lucky, you just lost the game. Simple as that. I haven't seen such an unfair pile of crap alternate win condition, especially, an enhanced one, because, Demonic Pact always was legal, but now they made it infinitely worse and infinitely more unfair. I haven't seen anything like that since Get Out 10 Guild Gates and Win, with just nothing but counter spells, stall, life gain, and board wipes, which there was literally no way to beat that deck. It could not be beaten. I guess rush them before the board wipe and try and do 20 damage while they're countering everything, gaining life, and wiping the board. Good luck. Or, 4 cards worth of land destruction. Yeah, right. Actually, I think the win condition itself was an enchantment. So here we go again. An enchantment that if you can't remove it, you lose. I mean, it's basically Storm. But wait, it gets worse. I'll get to that in a second. Now, even Lupine Prototype. It's a frickin' 5/5 for 2, and the only thing you need is no cards in hand. Wow. Considering that's an artifact, that might even help out Affinity a little bit as a backup win condition. You never know. It's a little hard to control in Standard, but still, it's a 5/5 for 2. I mean, come on. Nibulus of Frost, the rare that is a 3/3 for 4 and has Flying and Prowess, and every time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during the controller's next untap step. Holy crap, it's like almost as good as Reflector Mage, honestly, because you're just going to be getting rid of one of their blockers basically forever. I mean, you keep the spells coming, you honestly only really need to do it once every other turn, and that creature is effectively gone, plus Prowess. Oh, who's next? Oh, that's right, Tamiyo, the most powerful planeswalker ever printed in the history of the game. Yes, that includes Ugin. Yes, that includes every other one you're going to put down in the comment section. So she's basically a Bident of Thassa on her plus, and then a -2 ability that's basically a miniature Icy Blast that you didn't have to pay for. I mean, that makes Jace look like crap. And a -7, which is only 3 away from her summoning loyalty, that lets you draw 3 cards and then cast every single spell for the rest of the game from your hand without paying the mana cost. You could literally summon your entire library if you had about 12 draw spells in it. Just draw, cast, draw, cast, draw, cast. I mean, this is going to ruin Modern, completely ruin it. I mean, yeah, it's a Planeswalker. It might be able to be destroyed. It does cost 4. It's not that quick. 4 loyalty, not insane compared to, like, Karn. But, I mean, Omniscience, and then, what's that other one? That other one that, like, draws your whole deck and ends the freaking game. You can cast that for free. You can cast Emrakul for free, the original one, and get the free turn because you legitimately cast it from your hand, not place it onto the battlefield. Like, think of the worst hellish card ever, even Bearer of Heavens. Throw that in there. I love that card. Throw that out there for free. I mean, you could throw anything out there for free. A 13 cost, a 15 cost. Just whatever you want, cast it for free. That is the most broken thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. I mean, I thought some decks where you generate like 50 mana is like some kind of interesting little loopy thing, or, like my new deck, Tap Dance. I thought those were unfair, but you had to actually generate the mana. This one, no, you just throw out Tamiyo, and who cares about mana for the rest of the game? I mean, yeah, X spells, okay, don't play those. It's not even red anyway. So will she be popular in Standard? I'm not actually sure. I mean, she's about as good as a normal, like, average Jace, I would say. Those colors aren't, like, massively popular, but they are somewhat popular. I mean, they're not bad. They're definitely playable right now. They're the highest control colors right now, I guess. I mean, debatably not green, but still. So I think she's going to be pretty hot, and she's a mythic. So people are going to want her for Modern. They're going to want her a little bit for Standard, so there's a high-price card. Next up, we got Thalia, the new version. She's a 3/2 for 3, first strike, and basically everything they do comes in tap. That's huge. It's almost like an entire one-turn advantage against your opponent. People are going to want that. Now let's talk about the Tree of Freaking Perdition for a second. It's a 0-13 defender for 4. You tap it whenever you want with no other condition, no other cost, and exchange target opponent's life total with Tree of Perdition's toughness. So not only can you make their toughness exactly 13 and then win with Triskaidekaphobia, but you could put this in a black-red deck, and then obviously play the aforementioned black and red cards from Hell, Burn from Within to get them down to 13 precisely, this card to get them down to 13 precisely, throw in some vampires to block flyers and deal damage as backup condition. You've got backups for your backups for your backups. If you play that deck from Hell, you will win. In fact, I'm going to make a separate video called The Deck from Hell, because I want to warn people about the Demonic Pact, combo that people are talking about. Hey, guess what else you can do? Use Deathwind for 10 if you can generate the mana. -10, -10. Now it has 3 toughness. Boom! Their life total becomes 3. Swing with a vampire in the air, you win the game. It is just too powerful. This is going to be a $25, $30 card all day, every day, forever. Have you seen Ulrich the Kralin Horde? Holy balls! Welcome to Werewolf Central, as if werewolves weren't powerful enough. They definitely are now with him in there. I mean, even the rare card Wharf Infiltrator. It's a 1/1 for 2, but it has Skulk, which, that's almost guaranteed damage. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, so automatic Bident of Thassa, which was a really, really, really popular effect. I mean, it's even above military intelligence if you think about it. And then if you do discard a card, okay, that's a huge downside, but you can cycle to the card you want. So if you're running also Anticipate and, a bunch of other scry stuff, you're good. You're going to get the card you want. Plus, while you're doing it, it's a creature on the field, even more so than Sigiled Starfish, which is practically a lawn ornament that's just there for decoration. Then it says whenever you discard a creature card, so basically Madness, which is not a big blue thing, you may pay 2 colorless. If you do, or I should say 2 generic, it's not called colorless anymore, whatever, shut up. If you do, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield. So if you made even a blue-red Madness, we'll say, or blue-black Madness deck, this will generate so much aggro, it'll just be absolutely insane. Wretched Griff for 7, a 3/4 flyer. Whenever you cast it, you draw a card with a merge 6. Only goes down to 1 blue. Are you kidding me? So let's see. Out of all the mythics and rares that I named so far, which is the vast majority of all of them that exist, I mean, they're almost all spoiled, is there any actually bad ones that I said, oh no, nobody would play that? Maybe Lupine Prototype, because it's a 5/5 for 2 and it's hard to control the number of cards in your hand. The other 98% of the cards I named are all insane. They're completely insane. I think the power of Standard needs to go down, not up, but Wizards knows that if they want to sell packs, they better start power creeping it up, because, if you can upgrade your deck, you're going to want these cards, and so far, I want every single one of these cards myself, personally, for a deck. I'm probably going to be building about a dozen decks when Eldritch Moon comes out. So, everybody wants every rare. Every rare is going to be $5-10. Theoretically, I mean, we've never had a circumstance like this, so I can't accurately predict the prices, but I think, obviously, as you've probably figured out after watching the rest of this video, I think the prices are going to go up. I don't think this is going to be a flop. Unfortunately, I only ordered 6 cases from my vendor. I think I'm going to have to call them up and double that, but we'll see. I mean, they're really super cool. If you have a business, go with ACD distributors. I've never had a problem with them. They're totally awesome. I can open all the cards, sell 50% of them, look at the prices, say, yes, the EV is awesome, call them up same day. FedEx will have the boxes there the next morning, as long as I placed it before, I believe, 3 p.m., and then I could sell more cards instead of waiting a week for the shipment to come in and the prices to tank. I mean, that's just amazing. So that's why I tend to under-order now and then just order a buttload more if it's popular. So I would say, yes, put a whole bunch of boxes on pre-order, open everything you get. It's going to be worth it. You're not going to lose money. There's not just, 3 chase rares that you want and all the other rares are garbage. Pretty much the whole entire set is insane and going to be insanely valuable. Now, still, keep this in mind. There are going to be some decks that come out that are just the premier top decks. They're so stupidly powerful that nothing else can compete. But I think that will take a week or two for sure, because people are going to be trying out some crazy combinations with these cards. So yes, eventually, you're going to get the $1, $2 rares that used to be $10 rares, but I think in the first week, you are good to go opening anything. The set's going to be amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I swear if I do not make money on this, somehow the set isn't worthwhile, I am probably going to lower my order to 1 case for the rest of my life because I'll be done with MTG at this point. They have never, ever, ever had a set look this promising money-wise and power-wise. And if it flops, that's it. I'm done losing money on, every other Magic set. Like, I made money on Shadows. I lost tons of money on Origins, lost tons of money on OGW, made a bit of money on BFZ, and that's stupid. I mean, I probably broke even overall. So if this set doesn't do well, that's it. Wizards can take their next set and shove it. But here's hoping that won't happen. Let me know what you guys think. If you have some great deck ideas, some combos that are kind of being talked about online, because I'm barely even following it. And I will see you guys next video.